What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Dagruel's primary target was Rumina's, but with Veldora entering the fray, his priorities shifted. The significance of each opponent was vastly different. To Dagruel, dealing with Veldora felt like being forced to waste time on a trivial distraction.
You should embrace your true nature so you won't have any regrets. Let's settle this properly.
Veldora declared boldly. Dagruel acknowledged the challenge with a firm nod.
Fine. Let's find out once and for all who's superior, the dragon or the giant.
The two locked gazes, their competitive spirits blazing with excitement.
Today's the day I'll prove my dominance to you.
Don't expect me to hold back, Veldora, you shouldn't either.
Their voices roared in unison as they transformed into their true forms. Veldora assumed his dragon mode, while Dagruel summoned his brothers to his side.
Glassword, Finn, come forth. The time has come to show our true might.
Answering his command, the two brothers joined him. Glassword respectfully bowed to Alberto before moving to Dagruel's side. Fenn shook off Adelman, who clung to him desperately, and delivered a powerful blow to Ultima, who had tried to ambush him.
These pests are nothing. I'll deal with them later.
Fenn muttered, returning to Dagruel. At last, the three brothers stood together once more.
Open the door, Ashura.
Dagruel commanded. With that, the ancient seal was shattered, unleashing a blinding light that enveloped the three brothers. When the radiance faded, the battlefield bore witness to the rebirth of the mythical god of destruction. Standing before them was a colossal, three-faced, six-armed titan radiating incomprehensible power. Dagruel's preparations were complete.
So this is your true form, Dagruel?
Veldora bellowed, clearly exhilarated.
That's right. Brace yourself, Veldora, because I won't be holding back this time.
The heavens wept, and the ground quaked beneath their feet. A clash of mythical proportions was about to unfold, pitting two beings with world-ending powers against each other. Xian and her group immediately recognized the immense threat posed by the giant god. Dagruel, now fused with his brothers, exuded a divine aura so overpowering that it was worthy of being called godlike. The air itself seemed to hum with his energy, and thunder crashed ominously overhead, as if the sky itself trembled in fear. The oppressive atmosphere left Xian and the others speechless. Rumina's managed to muster a shaky comment.
What a monster. There's no way I can deal with that.
It was the same thought anyone witnessing Dagruel would have had. There was no point in acting brave. If death was inevitable, it seemed wiser to retreat and cling to any chance of survival. Yet, with Veldora standing against this colossal being, Xian and Rumina's found their expressions softening. No, it wasn't confidence, it was resignation. They knew their fate was tied to Veldora's success or failure. If Veldora fell, so would they. In essence, they had placed all their hopes on him, which eased their tension. Xian and Rumina's decided to observe the battle as though they were mere spectators. Veldora turned and shouted to Xian and the others.
Xian, once the fight begins, defend yourselves with everything you've got. With your strength, you can rally everyone to work together to turn this to our advantage.
His words echoed across the battlefield through a telepathy net, reaching every ally.
Adelman, Alberto, and the dispersed vampires join forces with Xian. If even one of us falters, we'll all be caught in the crossfire and annihilated.
Dagruel, too, showed no hesitation. Much like Veldora, he made the safety of his allies a top priority.
Basara, are you aware of the situation? Ensure your men's safety immediately.
Basara was locked in an intense fight with Louie and Gunther. The atmosphere was charged with energy, but the king's command took precedence over everything else.
I'll leave this unresolved for now, but if Dagruel-sama defeats Veldora, the fallout will be catastrophic for you.
With these parting words, Basara rallied the 5 warrior generals under his command and began reorganizing his forces. Louie and Gunther offered no resistance.
They certainly were formidable opponents, weren't they?
Louie remarked.
Well, we're dealing with the renowned four-armed, but he's not ready yet.
Gunther replied.
Perhaps not. I wasn't entirely serious either, but let's see who's hiding the better tricks.
Louie added. For Louie, the result of this particular skirmish didn't hold much significance. His focus was on preserving his strength for when Rumina's needed him in the decisive battle between the generals. However, this precaution seemed unnecessary now. No one had expected Veldora, an old adversary, to fight on their side. With his involvement, there was little reason for Louie and Gunther to intervene further. Although Veldora's high-handed manner was irritating, Rumina's appeared to approve of the situation, leaving Louie and Gunther without complaints. Taking control of the battlefield with ease, Veldora began issuing commands as though the outcomes were predetermined. The last group he addressed was Dagruel's fainted sons.
Dagura, Liura, Dabura, wake up. Dagura, Liura, Dabura.
Startled by Veldora's commanding tone reverberating through their thoughts, the three brothers bolted upright. Satisfied, Veldora continued.
Pay attention to what's about to unfold. We're going to defeat your father.
Veldora concluded with an air of solemnity. The brothers stared at him, awestruck by his imposing and uncharacteristically heroic demeanor. They quickly realized the gravity of the moment and nodded frantically, bracing themselves for the extraordinary events about to transpire. It wasn't just Dagruel's three sons who felt the weight of Veldora's commanding presence. Everyone on the battlefield was affected by the intense gravity of the moment. What was about to unfold wasn't merely a fight, it was a clash worthy of myth and legend. Those present understood their role as witnesses to this monumental event, destined to pass the story down to future generations. Veldora's demeanor was uncharacteristically serious, leaving an impression on everyone, including Xian and her allies. Even Ruminez, though impressed, couldn't help but harbor a hint of skepticism. And, as it turned out, her doubts weren't entirely misplaced.
Look at me now. Everyone's amazed by my bold and heroic figure. This is perfect. This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Veldora thought to himself, basking in the admiration he believed he was receiving. Unbeknownst to those around him, Veldora's inner monologue would have shattered the dramatic tension of the scene. Thankfully, no one caught wind of his true thoughts. Thus, the stage was set for a legendary showdown. Dagruel, the embodiment of tyranny, and Veldora, the personification of the windstorm, faced off. The element they shared in their powers was thunder. Dagruel wielded his supernatural ability to control the difference in electrical potential between the atmosphere and the ground, allowing him to unleash devastating lightning strikes, the pinnacle of nature's destructive force. Veldora, too, could summon lightning, effortlessly generating it by cycling his immense energy. By nature, both Veldora and Dagruel were nearly impervious to lightning. As a result, simply striking each other with lightning bolts was futile. Instead, they channeled their fighting energy into raw electricity and unleashed it upon one another. These lightning blasts, strong enough to annihilate an army of 10,000 in seconds, dissipated harmlessly in the air, never reaching their targets. This was due to the barriers surrounding both combatants, which caused their clashing energies to interfere and generate towering columns of lightning that illuminated the battlefield. Within moments, the battleground turned into a fiery, chaotic scene. Though both sides had established defensive measures in anticipation, the strain of maintaining these barriers began to take its toll. Fatigue spread across the ranks, leaving them struggling to hold their ground. A shared thought crossed the minds of many: at this rate, we won't live to witness the myth. We'll all be wiped out as collateral damage. Ruminez, realizing the impending danger, broke the silence with a sharp yell.
You reckless dragon. This is exactly why I can't stand people who don't know when to take it down a notch.
Although her complaint was futile, it was a reflection of the exasperation she had accumulated after countless troubles caused by Veldora. While her outburst served as a form of venting, someone unexpected chose to respond.
I see your point. When our top fighters go all out, it's never good for the rest of us down here.
The voice belonged to Basara. Concerned about the growing strain on their own defense barrier, he and his group began moving closer to Rumina's camp, eyeing it as potential reinforcement. As the barriers of the two factions made contact, Rumina's irritated remark reached Basara. He muttered a quiet agreement, not expecting Ruminez to hear him, nor intending to provoke a response. Unfortunately for him, Ruminez had a sharp ear. Catching his comment, she turned her attention to him.
If this continues, both of our barriers will collapse. And if that happens, only a handful of us will make it out alive.
The Titans faced annihilation, even if their camp managed to hold. Ruminez had no desire to see them completely eradicated. Her conflict with Dagruel stemmed from an old grudge, but wiping out all the Titans wasn't something she wanted. She believed it would weigh too heavily on her conscience and disturb her peace. If saving lives was an option, she preferred to take it. But there was only one way for everyone to make it out alive. After a brief pause, Ruminez made a decision and addressed Basara directly.
Basara, I have a proposition for you. I know you're strong enough to stand against Louis and Gunther.
Her words resonated across the battlefield, reaching both camps and ensuring every soldier on either side heard them. With so many listening, Basara knew he had to respond carefully.
I am listening, Queen of blood-sucking demons.
You'll need to work with me.
Work with you.
We must all unite in a single defensive formation. Everyone must pool their strength, and Xi'an will fortify it.
This was the solution Ruminez had devised. On this battlefield, enemies working together was no easy task. Yet, failure to do so would mean certain death for all. Basara quickly grasped the gravity of the situation.
This proposal, it's essentially the key to survival.
Even if only Ruminez and Xi'an survived, the chances were slim. Collaboration with Basara and his forces would improve their odds significantly. However, helping their sworn enemies was no easy choice.
In theory, it would be simpler to use this chaos to eliminate us.
Basara thought.
And yet, this queen shows an unusual amount of mercy. We're outclassed here.
Basara admitted internally.
All right, I'll accept your terms. Does anyone here have a problem with that?
The Titans gave their agreement, solidifying their decision. With Ruminez's plan unanimously approved, the combined forces ensured everyone's survival. Dagruel wielded complete control over waves, whether they originated from the earth, air, or elsewhere. By disturbing the ground, he could trigger massive earthquakes, while manipulating atmospheric currents produced violent discharges of electricity. Creating a vacuum wave was just as effortless, accomplished by skillfully directing airflows. Yet, none of these methods were effective against Veldora. This wasn't surprising, Veldora was the embodiment of storms themselves. Dagruel understood this well, and it didn't faze him in the slightest. Their rivalry had endured for countless years, giving them ample opportunity to study one another's strengths and weaknesses. However, the current situation was vastly different.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, Kirisoto Sama, JV, Thomas, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadel, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Akshay Devate, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Joshua Wolf. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.